Quickly he's shouting. They know every minute counts. The narrow street outside this Sikh temple in East Delhi is crowded with vehicles, full of sick and dying people. Desperate people gasping for air, for oxygen that the hospitals can't provide.
Is this the only place that you can get oxygen?
Yeah, this is the only place in the mission where we are getting oxygen. I heard that government is providing supply after some time, but till now this is the place where we are getting.
Many tell us they've been turned away by several hospitals before reaching here. No one seems able to help these people, and some just don't make it in time. He's died, he tells us.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
This would be shocking on its own, but this tragedy is being multiplied over and over.
Death and grief. In India, both are now on heartbreaking public display. Where a son begs for his father's body to be taken to the crematorium for his last rites. Where the virus has returned at such speed, it has far outpaced this country's ability to cope. Sunita mourns for her brother, just 45 years old. COVID is claiming ever younger victims. He was a hospital worker in Patna, where patients lie in makeshift wards, where every life hangs by the slender thread of an oxygen tube, in a land where oxygen is just one more fatal shortage. It breeds panic and fuels soaring black market prices. We met the family of Sanjeev Kumar. He's struggling to breathe in the back of this car. They've finally secured oxygen for him, but it proves to be too late. We have driven here and there and everywhere to find help, says his brother Rajiv. Their mother cannot be consoled. If we'd had oxygen in time, he would have survived, he says. But the hospital couldn't give him any.
Miles away to get it. For many, it's a race that they're losing. The race to find oxygen before coronavirus overwhelms them. Quickly he's shouting. They know every minute counts. The narrow street outside this Sikh temple in East Delhi is crowded with vehicles, full of sick and dying people. Desperate people gasping for air, for oxygen that the hospitals can't provide.
Is this the only place that you can get oxygen?
Yeah, this is the only place in the mission where we are getting oxygen. I heard that government is providing supply after some time, but
India may be experiencing the world's worst outbreak of COVID-19, but millions of people still turned out to elect regional leaders in the state of West Bengal on Monday. It's one of 5 states that has held elections in recent weeks, despite the drastically rising number of infections. Hospitals across the country are facing a critical shortage of beds and oxygen. The US and UK have responded by sending life-saving medical supplies to India. Once the aid arrives, armed police are deployed to escort the precious cargo. That's as regional states accuse each other of stealing oxygen. Soldiers guard a newly opened COVID-19 care centre in New Delhi. There are 500 beds so far, not enough for the many family members who couldn't get their loved ones admitted to hospitals.
Hospitals have never seen anything like this as COVID tightens its grip. A record 2,600 deaths in the past 24 hours. Overwhelmed by rising cases, for many of those seeking treatment, it's too late. For their relatives, anger in the midst of grief. And still more arrivals. Don't worry, this man says to his mother, urging her to keep breathing. He then lies on the road protesting to try and get her admitted. Others have turned to this makeshift oxygen centre outside a Sikh shrine. Sanctuary in their hour of need. The temple's president says we've helped more than 550 people in the past day. Without us, they wouldn't have survived. India's lack of oxygen supplies is taking its toll. There are reports 20 people died overnight because of shortages at one hospital. The government says it's deploying trains and the Air Force to transport supplies to hard-hit areas. Mumbai is one of the worst affected cities for COVID. Its streets lie deserted as doctors confront their worst fears.